Hello, welcome. My name is Tracy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Central Victoria, Australia. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm showing off this gorgeous card swap that I'm taking to Stampin' Up's Onstage here in Sydney. Now, I love this card. It is so shimmery and shiny and beautiful, and I'm really excited to show you how I put this one together. It's using my favorite color, Blueberry Bushel, and my favorite stamp set, Playful Penguins. Now I've got a couple of new products from the holiday catalogue that I've popped onto this card, so I'm so excited to be showing you some of those products. Let's get into it. So the supplies used for this card, we have the Playful Penguins stamp set. I've gone with this stamp here, but there are 3 penguins in total, so you could choose any one that you would like. I just found that this one was a little bit less in fussy cutting, so when you're making quite a few cards, you try and go with the easier of the options. I'm using the Trio of Tags dies, and we're using this little heart here. This comes in a bundle with the tags. Now I've used this set quite a bit here on YouTube and with some of my challenges, so check that out. These are a really great stamp set and die set for 3 different occasions. We have Halloween, we have Valentine's Day and Christmas, so you get a fair bit of use out of this set. So we have that one. Also in the catalogue, which are new, is with the shimmery crystal effects, and I've got this for that gorgeous little heart. It's so shimmery. You can't pick it up too well in the camera, I don't think. You can a little bit, but it's really beautiful, so I have that one. I'm also using the Delicata Inca for the silvery shimmer, so I have got a little bit of that on the background. We're using the Frost White Shimmer Paint. Inks, we have Memento Tuxedo Black and Blueberry Bushel. I'm using an ink blender tool, but you could also use either a sponge dauber or sponges. And I'm also using, for the sentiment here, I'm using the Stamparatus, so I'll show you how I used that as well. So I have my card kit here all ready to go, and you can find all the measurements and supplies over on my blog. There is a link to that blog post in the description of this video, so check that out. That gives you all the information that you need. So I have a piece of the card base here, and it's half a piece of A4 cut in half, scored in half, and I'm just going to fold and burnish that card base. I'm going to pop that to the side. We don't need that anymore until we're ready to pop it all together. We have our matting for the card. We have a piece of Whisper White. So these are all just normal Whisper White pieces. This one is this one here that we're going to use the ink blending tool. I have a piece of Whisper White for our sentiment. I have just a scrap of Blueberry Bushel for our hearts here. They'll cut out with that die cut. And another bit of scrap Whisper White here for our little penguin. So let's get started. Now there's a few things that take just a little bit to dry. The first one being our ink blending here, and also all our shimmery paint and our ink refill. So I'm going to start off with doing that piece of the smaller piece of Whisper White. I'm going to bring in that ink blending tool as well as the Blueberry Bushel ink. I'm also going to bring in another piece of scrap paper just to go underneath. So what I'm going to do, this is a new one. I didn't get the one that I used previously. Just going to load up a little bit of ink onto that ink blending tool, and these work really well. They're not Stampin' Up, but they really do work well. And what we're going to do is we're going to start down one end, and I want one end to be really dark, and then moving up towards the top of the card being a little bit lighter. And you want to do nice light action. You don't want to be too rough with the blender. So I'm really happy with that. As you can see, this does create quite a bit of mess, but I'm happy with that. Before that dries, what we're going to do is we're going to do some flickering with some of the shimmer paint and also the re-inker. So I'm going to bring in, I just have an old acrylic block, it's not Stampin' Up, and I'm just going to pop a little bit of that re-inker down on that block. Now I didn't say before that I'm using a aqua painter. I'm going to bring that one in. I'm going to add just a little bit of water onto that block. This re-inker is quite thick. I'm just going to flick that down onto that piece. And we want some bigger drops as well as some smaller drops. There we go. I just have a baby wipe here to clean that off, running some water through it as well. Now my frost white, I'm going to really shake that up well. And we have the silver, but we also have that white gorgeousness that's there as well. So there's enough in that lid to be able to flick down. You can see that looks like a night sky, doesn't it? Looks beautiful. So that one's all good to go. The next one we're going to work on is this one here, which is our card matting. So let's pop that to the side. Just bringing in another bit of paper. What we're going to do is we're going to do the same with this one, but we just want to get the top left hand side and the bottom right hand side. So because we still have a bit of that frost white on there, I'm going to work with that one first. I had quite a big production line doing this on a big table. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Pop that lid on. I'm going to go back to the silver, cleaning off that a little bit. And make sure that you clean your aqua brushes really well. Okay, so I'm going to come back in with the silver. Okay, and I also want to just hit it with a little bit of the blueberry bushel as well. That just gives it a really nice mix there. I have a little bit on my lid already. Let's pick some of that up. A little bit of a bigger drop, so let me just add a little bit of water down. Okay. Now they do take a little bit to dry, so what I've done is I've already done one previously. I'm going to bring that in. We'll work with the one I've done earlier. Making sure you clean your aqua brush before you put it away. So our piece of Whisper White, we're going to use our Memento Tuxedo black ink and just stamp that little penguin. And he's going to be fussy cut out. There we go. So I'm going to pop him to the side for a minute. While we have the memento out, I want to bring in my Stamparatus and do that sentiment. So what I did, because I did so many of them, I set my Stamparatus up and I created my own little jig. So let me just grab, oops, I'll just grab the magnets from the back. Set that back up again. So what I did is I stamped it down and then I cut out the piece that I wanted. So this is my measurement of our Whisper White. So I cut that out. I can place it straight down in the middle there. And I put the stamp down into that center bit. Oops. That must be up the other way, hang on. So once I cut out the size of my sentiment, I popped the stamp down in the middle there and lined up where I wanted it to go, picked up that stamp, and then we're right to do all our stamping. So all I did is I just done a production line of sticking my bits of white Whisper White strip in, and bring this in. I'm just going to ink up with Memento Tuxedo black ink. Make sure that's all lined up. Pressing down. And that's perfect. Now, if it wasn't quite perfect, you could then ink up again and then pop it down again. And because you have that all little outlined, you'll get it perfectly every time. So this was great. I found this really quick and easy to do. I just kept popping them in, and you could watch TV while you're doing it, so it's perfect. So I can get rid of that. Highly recommend this tool. Really, really great tool. Okay, so our last little bits are the die cutting. So we have our blueberry bushel and also the trio of tags hearts. I'm going to cut those out and I'll be back in just 1 minute. Okay, so that gives you 3 hearts, because this top one here actually cuts out 2. And I'm going to glue this outline of a heart onto the solid. So I'm just going to bring some Tombow in, do that really quickly. So it gives that little raised element there. Okay, so we have that. Let's fussy cut out our little penguin. There we go. We have all our elements ready to go, so let's pop them all back in view. These are the 2 that I've done previously, so we have them all dried. I'm gluing this piece of matting straight down onto our card base. And I love this Playful Penguin set for a few different reasons. I love the little images and how they look like they've been drawn, but I love the sentiments in there. There's so many different occasions that this set is good for, which I love a set that's versatile. It's not just a Christmas set. So we're also going to glue down our blueberry bushel piece. And it's just going to go pop straight in the middle. I'm popping up the penguin with some dimensionals. He needed just that little bit of a pop, I thought. Down on that bottom left side. I'm going to glue that heart that we glued together. He's going to go straight down on the penguin. Sentiment we're going to pop up with a couple of dimensionals, well actually 3 dimensionals. And that's going to pop over that blended ink piece. So once you've got all these layers together, the card comes together really quickly. Now that third little heart there, I'm going to pop a mini dimensional on the back of it. There we are. And that's just going to get popped down on the sentiment. And I'll bring the Wink of Stella in and just colour in that little heart, and that just gives a little bit extra sparkle to him. Bringing that crystal effects in, and we're going to pop some crystal effects in that middle of the heart. Now you are going to have to leave that overnight to dry. It will take a few hours. As you can see there, it's really glittery, but it goes hard and looks really, really pretty. So this is what I've done for my card swap. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If I get to swap with you, I hope you enjoy them. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed today's card tutorial for my card swap. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, and I'd love it if you left me a comment. If you haven't hit subscribed over in YouTube, you can go and do that. Check out my blog for all the measurements and supplies as well, and you can also sign up for my blog posts in the mail. That way you won't miss anything as well. If you're in need of any Stampin' Up supplies, you can order through me through my online store. Pop in the hostess code. Not only will I send you a handmade card or project, I will also send you via email a bundle tutorial. Now each month it's usually over 50 card tutorials. These are PDF printables and a really great value. Now I also have Inky rewards, so if you spend $50 you'll receive an Inky spot, and you can check that out. All the information is over on my blog. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye.